All right, well, here we are coming to you from the Riverwalk, all the way from the Riverwalk. Um, this is going to be our Week 9 recap and then our Week 10 coming up. So I'm just going to get right to it because there were some things that happened that were really unbelievable last week. I got my notes in front of me. I don't know if you can see that, but last week, Tatanka Blanco versus Wrecking Crew. This is a hard-fought battle. Ultimately, it came down to I used to date Cody's mom, and I felt bad for him. I wanted to give him some wins. I felt like he was down on his luck, so I did all I could to help push him across the line. I wanted him to. It was more of a confidence builder for him, just because I feel like he has low self-esteem, and I'm trying to get him back. I mean, he doesn't really know that I broke up with his mom because she smells like hot dog water. Nothing I can do about that. It's just what it was. It's a long time. It's in the past. You know what I mean? So you can stop calling me dad now, Cody. I'm cool with it. If that's what you prefer, I'm okay with it. I'm just saying you don't have to because we're friends now. So that was he barely pulled that one off. I don't know. I'm 5-4. Cody's 8-1. He's doing pretty good, and that's a confidence builder also. But I just didn't want to knock him off his high horse. I believe he got beat last week, so I just felt bad. Not 2 in a row. He's not ready for it mentally, I don't think. But next we have Rusty Buckets. As we know, Rusty's the worst player in the league by far. Everybody knows it. I've claimed it more than 1 year. He's got the worst record. Well, guess what? He plays mix in the sauce. It's middle of the road, but borderline possible playoff contender. And Rusty Buckets, who, once again, I don't need to say it. I say it all the time, worst player in the league, but he comes in pretty hardcore and demanding, beats Mix in the Sauce. I got to be honest, Mix in the Sauce, Kane, I thought when you play the worst player in the league, you're going to win this thing, but you're terrible. I mean, I don't even know people that suck that bad. I'm going to have to walk around. I'm going to have to go to about 2-3 cities to find somebody as bad as you are at fantasy, to be perfectly honest. I'll just say it out loud. I'm going to interrupt people's relaxed time just to get to this. Hey, do you guys think? Does anybody think Kane sucks at fantasy football? Yeah, a whole lot of people just agree with that. Appreciate that, guys. Anyway, bro, you got dropped 105-96 by the worst player in the league. That puts you somewhere around top 4 possible worst players. I'll get into it later. I'm sure we'll ask somebody. There's plenty of people who got some comments. You literally got beat by Rusty. Terrible. Red Nuts versus DeMarty Arrest ended up being 123-114. Red Nuts 7-2 somehow. At some point, I guess you just have to admit he's good. It's not a fluke. He's been this far in the season. So Red Nuts, I apologize for saying you suck all the time. Apparently, you're pretty good. I don't. It's baffling. Will Always, a Longback comes in pretty good every year. You have a losing record halfway through. I don't think Longback's going to make the playoffs this year. There's plenty of things that you could do to get back, but I would just stick to playing basketball because you're pretty good at that, but you're not good at fantasy. Not this year anyway. You got dropped by Red Nuts. Downtown St. Brown versus Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, as we all know, you got these 2 worst players in the league, but when Kane gets dropped like that, Kane, you're not good. Double trouble. You're kind of terrible at this, to be perfectly honest. And I have no words for what happened. But Downtown St. Brown, you scored 100 points this week versus Willie Nelson. He scored 79 points. 79 seems to be the low man in the league. So Kyle at 79 points, the lowest point total in the league. That's a little embarrassing, to be honest. I don't want to talk about it. I know you also share mom with Cody, so I dated your mom too. I feel bad for you guys, but I couldn't have given you the victory this week because I didn't play. I had to give it to one of the brothers, and it just so happened to fall on Cody. So, you blew that one. I mean, just terribly blew it. You're 3-6 on the year. Downtown St. Brown 4-5. That was a snooze fest by far from 2 of the worst people in the league. And then you have bye week versus rebuilding season, and this was the battle for second, outright second place, second worst player in the league. This final score ended up being bye week 115 to rebuilding season 106. So I don't know if you remember, but rebuilding season we got 2 in a row. Started off hot, really thought you were going places. I remember you were bragging it up. had a lot of high confidence. Well, now you have no confidence, and maybe somebody will let you win. Just like I felt bad for Cody and gave him one so he didn't have low self-esteem. That's basically where I was at with that. But yeah, bye week 115, 106. So outright, outright at the first of the week, this was the battle for the second worst player. But the way that Mixing the Sauce got beat by Rusty, terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And it's a tied for second, to be honest. It's between Kane and Mitchell. And that's the thing. Kyle, I mean, you jumped up to like fourth place. With a loss, you jumped up to fourth place. With the loss and the lowest score of the week, you jumped up in fourth place. That's really saying something. All right, now let's move it on really quick here. Projections this week: Tatanka Blanco plays downtown St. Brown. We all know where that's going to go. Downtown St. Brown is terrible. His record's terrible. He doesn't have a shot in hell to win this one. Tatanka Blanco wins this one by 25 probably. Downtown St. Brown's took a lot of losses this year, and it's going to continue. We also have Martiac Arrest versus Wrecking Crew. Now, this is a battle of, these two act like they're best friends. One has a long back, one has a short back. Long back versus short back this week. The Martiac Arrest, you're projected to win 106 to 98. I mean, really, just based on theory, I think DeMartiac honestly is probably going to win this because Cody can't keep up this kind of pace unless he plays somebody that lets him win, like I did last week because I felt bad for him. So in theory, I think Longback's going to win, but also Longback, you're not good this year, so Cody's going to win this week also. But at some point, because he's going to take another loss, it's going to happen next week. It'll probably be versus Rusty or somebody like that. But yeah, this week, Cody, I got to go with you, Wrecking Crew. You're going to pull out a victory, probably by about 10 points. Next, we have Mixing the Sauce versus Willie Nelson. This is a matchup that the previous second worst player in the league, now the fourth, versus maybe tie for second. So I don't know where that falls there. So this is a really low grade game. 101 to 89, Mixing the Sauce. You're projected to win this. And honestly, even though Kyle's better than you, sitting in fourth place in the power rankings. By the way, you know what? I'm going to have a power rankings. I'm going to work on that. You're going to get the power rankings after I finish this. So I'm going to take Mixing the Sauce on that one, even though Kyle's higher in the power rankings. Rebuilding season versus Rusty Buckets. This is it, man. This is worst players in the league, but remember, Mixing the Sauce is pretty close to that. Terrible. There's no words for it. But rebuilding season versus Buckets. Rebuilding season, I think you get a win this week. I think you get 4 wins in the year. Rusty stays the same. He's going to, even though he pulled off a solid victory, somehow he's just not a winner yet. You're going to have to do a couple more in a row. So I'm taking rebuilding season. And I'm actually probably going to go rebuilding season by 5. And then last, we have bye week versus Red Nuts. Now, bye week, somehow you escaped this whole thing for being the worst player in the league. I don't know where. Let's just look at the power rankings. I don't control it. It's computer generated. It's based on different news sources and things like that. So we'll get you the power rankings in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. But honestly, Red Nuts, I hate that you're good this year because I'm not sure why. You're not a very good responder, as I say every week. But you're going to go 8-2 this week, hands down. I think Red Nuts win this one by 15. So that's where we're at. Stay tuned for the power rankings, and we'll see you later.